Hi YouTube. In the last episode we touched on making configurations, and then we got on to copying a database file into our local configuration just for our local development. And then I tried to break the database connection and it wouldn't work because I've not asked for anything from the database. That was my fault, so sorry about that. You would have noticed when I was logging in the last one that I was using user Laravel and password Laravel. You might just have just root and blank if you've installed WAMP for this course, and that's fine. You just use root and no password in your configuration, but because in this login I have a load of databases, I created a Laravel user and then assigned a database of the same name, but you don't have to do that, but just so you know. So I think in fact if I just go forwards it'll be fine. Oh no, Laravel. Okay, and I just created a database of the same name when I asked for a new user. Okay, so that's all that is. So in here, just make sure nothing's broke. Yep. I'm going to go to my roots folder, and we're going to actually ask for some data from the user's database. So in my database, I've changed the database name to Laravel in my local database.php. So all we need to do now is actually fetch something from the database, and we're going to use something called Eloquent, which is an ORM, which is what we use to speak to the database with. I'm not quite sure where it's located. It's located somewhere. Anyway, so I'll find out in a bit because it'll tell me. So what I want to do is I'm going to comment out this return hello that we've been using to fetch this pretty logo here, and I'm going to put some data into a variable and just output it. Okay, so let's show you how to do this. So Eloquent, we have a user model. A model here is saying user table users, and there's some various settings for this table, and a model deals with data, remember? Okay, we're right, okay, here it is, look. We're extending Eloquent. So there is no users table, so we'll get an error for this, but let's do it anyway. So my first data equals, and the way that Eloquent works is that it will make the class the name of the model, but it's not plural, and it starts with an uppercase. So users becomes user, yeah, like the file name here, and then we can just ask for all and end that there. So in order to have a look at this data, I would need to output it first, but let's have a look at the error message. And here we have a nice error screen. I like this error screen. On this side here we've got what's called a stack basically, and it's basically telling you the how it got there. So we started on index.php, and then we went to that file, and then we went to there, and we went to there. Okay, and if we look for roots number 16, you see, this is what we have, which is there. My first data, we used it all, and it's telling us there. But we can actually click on each of these and see the code for every single stack, which I think is really nice. Okay, so basically it's saying you haven't made a Laravel users table, so let's do that now. Normally in a Laravel application you would use the artisan command and the migration tools for this, but just for this example, just so we can connect to the database and get something out, and for our CRUD application we are going to just make a database through PHP MyAdmin, and then we'll get on to migrations after this CRUD application. Okay, so we'll make one called users, and I want 5 columns. I'm going to ask for an ID, and it's going to be an auto increment, so we don't have to fill those values in. A varchar for username, and we'll make it 50. That'll do for now. There would be a password normally, and I think the user model is going to want a password, so password field. So we'll make it. This will store just plain text passwords, which you wouldn't use in a real life situation. You'd encrypt them, but for this purpose, we're just going to use plain text ones, just so we can have a play. I want date, time created, and I want a date time, date time. There we go. Oops. I'm just pressing D here to go through everything that begins with D. Modified. These two Laravel will deal with on its own, so we don't need to worry about them. Okay, so that'll do just for the moment, and then we shall insert some seed data. So we leave that blank because it's going to fill itself in. It will probably be 3 because I think I did something before, or it might be 1. Let's have a look. Let's say this is an admin user. The password is the very secure password. Created and modified. So obviously you wouldn't have that as password, but there you go. Okay, and I will look into that some other time. So let's look at our table. We have one entry in there, and this is incorrect obviously, but we should be able to see something come out at the other side, and that's what we want. So if we refresh this, we get white screen, but that means the error has gone. And let's just output what's in my first data. Okay, so if we echo a pre-tag, echo like that, and then we'll just print our my first data, and we'll just see what we get and leave it there. So if I refresh this, you can see that we have Illuminate Database Eloquent Collection, which is an object, and we have our ID1, username and password, and our 2 dates there. Okay, and this is basically what you get from Eloquent, and this is the data that we're going to be using to create our CRUD application pages. So in the next episode we will take this further, and we shall start making views, and we shall start using a system called Blade to output this data in a nice table for us, and make some buttons so we can update and delete and everything that we can do in a RESTful Laravel CRUD application. So I shall see you next time.